Hello there, and welcome to this video. My name is Seth, and I'll be taking you through a house of many doors today. I'm quite excited. I have had this game for a while, but I just haven't had the opportunity to play it. And now we get to go on this journey together. The bald-headed man sits back. Rutherford. His name comes to you in a flash. You raise your fingers to your temple and brush over a rough bandage. Somewhere beneath you can feel a tender hole in your skull, still oozing. Bandit, says the other man. Monobrow. Bradley is his name. Ambushed us, boarded us, and took a memory right out of your head. What happened to my head? Didn't you know? Rutherford laughs. That's how they get the memories out. He mimes a drill. That's pleasant. The house is a parasite dimension, says Bradley. Endless dark rooms and locked doors. It steals things and people from other worlds. Ah, yes, it's all coming back to you now. That reminds me of my favorite book, actually, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielski. It's a very good read, if long. But yeah, that just reminds me of the House of Leaves. This is very interesting. Steady on, says Rutherford. You're in no condition to go chasing down miscreants, Seth. I want to make sure your brain wasn't too badly damaged. Let me ask you some questions about your past. Oh boy. Oh, okay, so we have some portraits here. Which one looks the most like me? I suppose the one down at the bottom. Tell me about your childhood. You had your own little niche in the tangled ecosystem of the City of Keys. What was it? I'm always a sucker for picking the rich kid in games where you have the option to pick. You grew up in one of the most prominent noble families of the city. You were heir to an impressive title, a sense of self-importance, and most importantly, money. And your professional life? You grew up, of course, as children sometimes do. Your childhood slipped away, and you earned your keep as a lawyer. You had the gift of the gab, and you put it to good use. The legal profession in the City of Keys is a corrupt and decadent nightmare, where a single mistake can cost you everything. Only the cunning survive. Maybe you left that way of life in disgrace. Maybe you retired in honor. Maybe you simply got bored. It doesn't matter. The fact you left is what's important. Your work cannot have wholly been your life, says Rutherford. What was the other claim on your time? Ah, yes. Occultism. You gave yourself to the study of the occult. You pored over forbidden tomes and learned strange secrets. Ah, a game after my own heart. The last we saw of the Memory Thieves, they were heading directly north of here, probably up to Claytons Mill to sell your memory on the black market. Perhaps we can catch them. This memory may not even be worth retrieval, of course. How would you know? Oh, so here's what Rutherford looks like. A sour, gray-faced man who drinks 2 bottles of whiskey a day and smokes like a chimney. Whiskey has been going missing from your cargo. Rutherford probably knows a thing or two about it. As you walk into his surgery, Rutherford hastily shoves a half-empty bottle under the table. What's the matter? He says, struggling to focus his gaze. You stub your toe or something? The amount you drink surely cannot be healthy. Cheek of it. With excruciating difficulty, he lights himself a cigarette. I save your bones how many times and this is the thanks I get? I don't have a problem. The world has a problem. He tips forward, prodding you gently in the stomach. Go on. Fire me. Who are you going to replace me with? Someone licensed by the Surgeons Association? That's a joke, that is. What's wrong with the Surgeons Association? Rutherford gathers himself, puts the bottle to one side, and takes a deep draw on his cigarette. Where do I start? He mutters. I had a doctor before my name once. Not exactly a respected physician, but at least I had a license. Unfortunately, I had an attack of conscience. You see, another drag on the cigarette. The Surgeons Association is stealing hearts. What do you mean? If their patients are poor enough and powerless enough, the association steals their heart, he says, leaving the patient with a shorter life expectancy and a hollow rib cage, but still alive somehow. Through occult interventions, I suspect. Why would they do that? Rutherford laughs darkly. It's a nice little money earner. Sell 'em to the factory. He nods in the vague direction of your kinetopede's heartlight. How do you think they make those things? Pig's hearts? No, it needs to be human, and it needs to be alive. What can we do about this? Well, I went to the city watch, but they just locked me up, says Rutherford. Then Holdsworth, the chairman of the association, came into the cell, offered me a lot of money to keep quiet. So of course I took it, because what am I, an idiot? He knocks back another nip of whiskey. His face is blotched and he's slurring his words. How do you know this? I treated a patient without a heart, says Rutherford. A little old lady, sweetest woman you ever met, so I did some digging on her behalf and dug a little too deep. Found that this was a common money-making scheme among the top brass at the association. I was just too low-rung to know about it. He knocks back a second swig. He stumbles, drops his cigarette, and tries to put it out with his boot, but misses and kicks you in the shins. Well, we've already got some heavy content here. Alright, let's get moving then, shall we? Ooh. This looks much... too much like a centipede for my liking. But apparently, it's a train on legs. Oh, Jesus. Oh. I quite like this statue. Oops. Probably wasn't supposed to smash into it, though. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be going. This way? Hello there. Where are you going? This way? Oh. I thought we were gonna crash for a moment. That scared me. Oh. Uh-oh. That doesn't look friendly. Weave. Weave. Oh. Ah, that's gonna jump scare every single time, isn't it? Oh wait, I missed something. Oh. Oh no. Well. Now, the thing with wells is, if you know anything about the Fail Better games, specifically the Fallen London series, wells are not good ideas. Things tend to be pushed down them. Claytons Mill. Partly a town, and partly a fortress, and partly one vast tavern. A creaking wooden monument built in defiance of the truism that crime doesn't pay. A shanty village, mostly composed of rusting kinetopedes converted into houses or brothels, surrounds the great building at the center of the room. Lopsided and absurd, Clayton's Mill is huger than a cathedral, belching smoke and spinning a dozen blades. It bristles like a porcupine with heavy-duty artillery, though you suspect that any one of these great cannons going off would cause the whole edifice to collapse. Their journey to Clayton's Mill is a pilgrimage for thieves, pirates, and bandits. Here they can sell their misbegotten wares in the open. They can also drink and fight and kill each other without comment or consequence. In the mill itself, liquor flows eternal, although Clayton Canker himself is rarely seen in public these days. Uh-oh. Let's check out this first. A library from another world collapsed in on itself like a badly baked cake. A few scattered books lie amongst the rubble. but they're rotten and damp. You search for hours, but all the books have been eaten away by darkness and damp. Best move on. Now, what do you have? Why are you scuttling towards me so quickly? Ah! Here are our blasted memory thieves, hmm? You recognize their kinetopede instantly. It's much sleeker than your own cobbled-together mess. They're not trying to run. They're barreling straight towards you, legs all a-skitter. Well, we could always fight after I ask for my memory back, you know? The memory thieves prove surprisingly amenable. They will return your stolen memory. Fighting you is simply not worth the risk. You climb down to the floor, your boots sending up a great cloud of dust. Don't leave the circle of safety provided by your heart light. The dark would eat you alive. The memory thief captain is a typical bandit, an odd collection of scavenged clothes, goggles, bandana. He hands you the battered box that holds your stolen memory, and as he does so, his sleeve lifts. Strange, he has a tattoo of a skull with a line slashed through one eye socket. An odd tattoo. Looking him up and down, you notice other discrepancies. His fingernails too clean, his hair too neat, no scars, and all his teeth. He turns and hurries back to his kinetopede before he can ask further questions. I didn't notice this before, but steadfast follower Karcher, too boring to insult Karcher, Dan Fitch, human male, nameless Karcher, and fought many battles Karcher. Very interesting. Oh boy, another well of darkness. Whispers echo from below. When you listen closely, you can hear a conversation from another world. Two lovers chatting and giggling and talking about work on the farm. When you look down, you see two silhouettes reflected in the still water, a blue sky above them. Then the water shimmers, and the illusion breaks. That conversation replays in your mind. So young, so innocent. How odd that such inconsequential words would wind their way into another dimension. Your heart light goes out so suddenly that for a half second none of your crew seem to notice, mechanically performing their tasks in the dark. Then the shouts and screams begin, fast shapes in the blackness, a murmured prayer. Panorama is working furiously on the dimmed heart light with one hand, a candle in the other. No use, it won't turn on again. It's nothing mechanical, says Rutherford. The only indication of his presence in the darkness is the floating ember of a cigarette. It's medical, a heart attack. Our only hope is to get back to the city of keys in one piece and have the whole heart light replaced. Can you fix it? The cigarette bobs from side to side. It can't be fixed lest we replace the dead heart inside. And I'm not volunteering mine. Any other takers? Panorama is silent. Your crew, gathered anxiously at the doorway, are silent. We can make it that far if we're careful. Panorama cackles. You're wrong, she says merrily. This is how we die. No one expects you can make it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We can make it, we can make it. We can make it, surely. It doesn't move. It stands blank and still, and fades from place to place, melting into shadows like liquid when you look too long at its unmarked visage. It is more than faceless. Its face is a void, and even as you look at it through the noctoscope, you feel a freezing emptiness tugging at the corners of your brain. Your crew start to swear that they are seeing it inside the kinetopede, always only a glimpse. The darkness will have its due. What was that? God, this music is ominous. But almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Almost there. Almost there. We can make it. We made it! Ha ha! Ha ha! That was stressful. You know the streets here, the accents, the looming skyline, even the omnipresent sense of menace is in its own way comfortingly familiar. This is a city of brimming possibilities, each stamped out as quickly as it forms. This is the city that opened 1,000 doors, that founded extracellular colonies. This is the most prolific producer of keys in all the house. But all things must be measured against their cost. Orphans Town, the howling pits, and most of all the factory, squatting vastly at the center of the city, a bloated concrete tumor swollen to the size of 12 castles. No matter how far you go, you will bring all this with you. Alright, first things first, let's repair our heart light before we get eaten by the darkness. After a vociferous argument with the man who sold you your kinetopede, you manage to get the heart light replaced free of charge. Your crew, the survivors, are too exhausted to cheer. The memories of that dark, desperate journey will take a long time to heal. Let's visit home, shall we? An old and imposing house on Revenant Street with a vegetable garden and even a small servant's quarters. Everyone who owns a house on the street is important, and the city watch patrol it rigorously. Withering Street is a tranquil row of middle-class homes, narrow leafy gardens and ornamental gnomes. 151 looks just as cheery as all its neighbors. You knock at the door is answered by a small man in an ill-fitting suit. He has a craggy face, unkempt stubble, alarmingly blue eyes. "I'm a governor's man," he explains without preamble, ushering you inside. "Sit down. Talk." The inside of the house is devoid of furniture except for a single velvet armchair into which the governor's man reclines. He looks up at you and smiles quizzically, hands folded in his lap. "What should I call you?" "You may refer to me as 151 Withering Street," says the governor's man, "and perhaps one day, a friend." That damn smile never leaves his lips. The governor's man is silent and smiling. He does not say goodbye. "Have you seen this city?" demands the poster. Below it is a city map, though not one you recognize. "The city of glass was mysteriously moved into Principate territory in the year 1802, reads the poster's smaller print. "After the cities fought valiantly to reclaim it, it vanished again and has not been seen since. Can you help us find our 7th city? 20,000 guinea reward." Interesting. A missing city, huh? Alright, I think I'll end it there for today. Thank you for joining me on this journey into a house of many doors. It's quite intriguing. It's my kind of game, I'd say. I do enjoy a game with lots of story and deep lore. A game after my own heart, as I said. If you're interested in seeing more of this, please do leave a like and comment below. And otherwise, I will see you later. Ta-ta.